Hello, beautiful souls. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is Jenny of Soul Pet Connections. I'm an animal communicator and energy healer for animals and their people too. Today, I want to talk about moving with your pets. It's kind of inevitable that at some point in our lives, we're going to have to relocate. When you have pets, that adds another layer of complexity to the situation that can make it a lot more challenging. There are more pets lost during moves than probably any other situation, other than fireworks maybe, but it's hard. It can be really challenging on our pets. And so I wanted to share a few things with you today that hopefully maybe you don't need for a long time, but just keep kind of tucked away in your head in case you do have to move. So one of the things that I want to remind you to start with is that you are the whole world to your pets. So there isn't anything else that they have other than you and the home that you share. If you have a dog, maybe you can get them out and go run around and play somewhere or go hike or whatever. But your home is still home base. If you have a cat that's an indoor cat only, your entire house is all they have. If you have an indoor-outdoor cat, your home is still home base, and they have things that are in the surrounding area. When you relocate, that completely disrupts that sort of centralized, like I said, like home base feeling that they have. And it can be traumatic. That's why more pets are lost during moves than any other situation, because the area is completely unfamiliar. They don't have any of the normal points of reference that they have when they live somewhere for a while. That doesn't mean they can't adapt, but it's important to remember that they organize everything around where they are. And that's not very big. We have choices. We can go on vacation, we can go out to the stores, we can go travel, we can go hang out with friends. They don't. They're always grounded in home base. So this is why it can be so disruptive and why it's really important to support your pets through the process of moving. Because it can be traumatic and we don't want to make any more work for ourselves, right? So if we do some things up front and plan and prepare, it makes the whole process easier for everyone. So there's a couple different ways that you can support them. The first one I always recommend is that you talk to your pet. This applies to every situation. There is not a time where you can go wrong talking to your pet about what's going on in life around you. So any current events, if you're stressed, if you've got job challenges, relationship challenges, family challenges, life challenges, bills, whatever, you can't go wrong sharing from your heart about the situation with your pet. Your pet does not want you to cover up and hide. If you're feeling badly about something, they want to know that. And the more it's out in the open with your pet, the easier it's going to be to navigate together. So share whatever's going on in your life with them. And so when it comes to a move, there's a couple different ways we can approach that. Number one, just share that you are moving. You know, hey, there's going to be boxes. There's going to be a lot of chaos for a little while. There's going to be stuff everywhere. I might be stressed out if I'm looking for a place to move, if I don't know where I'm moving, or if this move is kind of a forced situation and I don't really want to. So there might be some tension and stress. Just share that with your pet. Then after that, be excited about the future. Be excited about the new home. What good features do you have? Do you have a bigger yard? Are there going to be friends to play with around? Are there going to be family members that they'll get to connect with more? You know, what positive aspects are there going to be of the new place? If you don't know, then dream with your pet. Just share things you want to have in the new location. Are there going to be better access to trails or outdoor areas where you can go do things? Is it going to have beautiful sunlight or big windows for your cats to lounge in? Share the good things about what's coming. Number one, it'll help you focus on them. And number two, for your pet, it's going to tell them there's something to look forward to after all this chaos. After all this stress, there's going to be something nice to have. So share that with them. And just talk. Like I said, you can't go wrong in any situation with this. So use that first. Secondly, Create things that are going to be consistent from one location to the next. The simplest, most basic one to do is smells. It's something that we as humans overlook because it's not important to us, but I'm sure that if you thought about it, there's a smell that will take you to another place. I'm sure that there's something in your life that reminds you of a memory when you smell it. You can create that scenario with your animals pretty easily. Essential oils are a great way to do it, or something else that's going to be consistent that you can bring with you to the new location. I personally prefer to use essential oils as long as they're really good quality and high grade. Poor grade essential oils can actually be harmful, absolutely. But when you use high quality oils, it can create a consistent smell that's comforting and familiar so that when you move, you've got something that feels good. It feels familiar. It brings back memories of the place that they were before. So setting that up so you can either put it in place before you bring your pet or get it in place first when you get into the new location. Those kinds of things will really help. Exercising your pet and doing as much as you can to help make sure that they don't have excess energy that can turn into anxiety is also another great way to work with them around moving day. So plan in time and space. If your pet likes to go to a boarding facility, that's not a bad thing to do to help with the transition so that they aren't a part of some of the massive chaos that happens in the middle of a move. If you can't do that, that's also fine. But again, be sure you're supporting them emotionally. Don't leave them in an empty house. That's a guaranteed way for them to try and get out because they're panicking because nothing's there. Leave them in a room with some things if you have to, and then come get them and bring them to the new house and put them in another room that's similar. Not introducing your pet to the entire new house all at once is another way to help support them through the transition. So this works especially well with cats, but it can also apply to dogs, depending on the layout of your house. Sometimes it can be tricky, but for cats, my preferred way to do it is to have a bedroom or space that you can close off completely that can be a little bit quiet and secluded, and then bring their carriers in there, open the doors, and let them come out on their own. So keep the door closed. You can sit in there and hang out with them for a while if you want, but make sure you just provide food, water in their litter box, and maybe some of their familiar things. Put a cat tree in there or some other items that are theirs that they know and appreciate, and then leave them alone. Cats prefer to kind of do things on their own time and of their own accord, so forcing them out of the carrier or forcing them to explore the house can add to the stress and trauma of the move. Just allow them to come out on their own, and once they're comfortable in that room where they can kind of use that as sort of a safe zone or as sort of a smaller home base within the house, then they can begin to explore the rest of the house. Make sure you supervise your pets in the beginning with a new house. If there's still a lot of boxes around and a lot of different things like that, that can be kind of chaotic and you might lose your pet among the boxes. Or they may find a little crack or crevice that you didn't know existed in your new house and get stuck there. Heard those horror stories too. So make sure you're supporting your pet along the way, along with yourself through the stress of the move. The more you support you and make sure your stress level is managed, the easier it will be on them. In addition to that, don't fret about unusual behavior from your pets. It's possible that they can kind of get triggered by the move, and so they might exhibit some things that are unusual that aren't familiar to you in terms of their behavior. If you start stressing out about their behavior, about the fact that they're hiding or not coming out or doing things differently than they did before, that can stress them out further. So just make sure you're okay with whatever they do. It's okay. They really can't do anything wrong per se right now. And if they make a mistake, like peeing outside the litter box or having an accident in the house, just clean it up and then try again. Maybe restructure what you're doing, give them a smaller space to work with rather than the whole house. Make some changes, but don't make them wrong. If they become wrong for those actions, it can kind of perpetuate them or end up coming out in other behavior issues. Creating rituals before you move that you can establish quickly in the new home is another way to work with this. So if you have rituals around feeding time or processes and patterns that you always do, maybe you always walk your dog at a certain time. Maybe you always exercise and they hang out with you while you do that. Whatever routines you can establish quickly in the new home that are very similar to what you had before will help create that continuity and smooth everything out again. So I hope these tips are helpful. It can be a super stressful time and I hope you don't need them, but if you do, I hope you can employ some of these so that it'll make life easier for you and your pet through the process of the move. I'm Jenny of Soul Pet Connections. You can find me online at soulpetconnections.com, as well as on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.